And now, it is that time in the show where we get together as a family. We grow, we learn about ourselves and about others, typically in the form of football games. And we do the picks. So Seth obviously is not here, but we're going to still do the picks. He will just be he has already sent in his picks. So I will just read them off to the people. We need some music, though. Let's go ahead and play the track. The week starts off with what I can only describe as football cancer. Bears heading to Washington to take on the Commanders. Seth is taking the Commanders, and I will agree. I mean, Sam Howell, I don't think he's really all that bad. I think he's probably a mid-tier quarterback at worst. At best, he's like, slightly above average. And the Bears are poop. Justin Fields is so bad, and I will never let Bears fans live this down. And I'll also never let the media live this down, because this is in part their fault. They were the ones who hyped up the Bears, who said, the Bears could be a sneaky team to win this division. Justin Fields could be an MVP. No, Justin Fields is terrible. He's bad at the game of football. He can't play. He's just not good. Not good at all. And the Commanders, look, they're not an amazing team, but they're at least a competently looking team. Like they played the Eagles pretty close, and I think they're going to win this game. Maybe not by a landslide, but hey, I wouldn't be surprised, given the way that a lot of these Thursday night games end up. Up next, we have the London game. The Jaguars, technically on the road to the Bills, even though they're playing it in London. They're entering as the road team, I guess. So, Seth is going to take the Bills in this one. This is actually kind of a tough one for me, because the Bills coming off of a big win. The Jaguars also coming off of a big win. The Bills looked a lot more dominant than the Jaguars did last week, or I'm not going to let that overshadow. I'm just... this is actually really tough. You know what? No, I'll go with the Bills. I'll go with the Bills for the sole reason that the Bills, at least, they had the one bad game at the beginning of the season. Since then, they've just sort of been killing everybody. Since then, they've been like, no, murder. We're just going to stab somebody in the chest. Whereas the Jaguars, I don't know what I'm going to get any given week. I can trust the Bills a little bit more. Moving on. Okay, it doesn't like that. Moving on, we have the Texans heading to the road to take on the Falcons. Seth is going to take the Texans in this game. And you know what? Yeah, gotta go with the Texans here. Look, I don't know what Arthur Smith is on, keeping Desmond Ridder as starting quarterback, but you're not going to win games with Desmond Ridder. He's a bad quarterback. And I get he's young. I get maybe you're trying to help him develop. Maybe you're working on something, but it's just not working. I mean, it's just not working. Whereas C.J. Stroud, he looks like he could be the real deal. This would be a very marquee win for him to go on the road in Atlanta in enemy territory and pull off a win here. But we'll see. I mean, I still like the Texans in this game. I do. The Panthers heading to Detroit, taking on the Lions. A little revenge game for the Lions after a loss last season to them. And Seth is going to take the Lions, and I, of course, am going to agree. Look, Jameson Williams is coming back. We're going to have so much more of a threat for a deep ball on offense, I think, than we otherwise have had in the first 4 weeks. The Panthers look so bad. Bryce Young is scared for his life. They don't really have much of an offense. They really don't have much of a defense. I think this is going to be Lions by 100. I don't like to get overconfident, but given the way we manhandled Green Bay on the road, I think this is going to be a very, very long night or long day for the Panthers. No doubt about it. But moving on, we have the Titans heading to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Seth is taking the Titans here. And, I am going to defer. I'm going to take the Colts here in Indianapolis. Anthony Richardson, he looked okay last week in a close game to the Rams. I went to overtime. And the Titans played like the Bengals, who apparently are just dead. I don't know. They don't want to play football. So I'm going to take the Colts here. It's going to be a divisional game. And I have something more of a trust in the Colts, which is weird, than I do over the Titans, because the Titans are having a better year on the record. But it's the Titans. I just can't trust them. Up next, we have the Giants heading to the Dolphins, the G-Men. And Seth is taking the Dolphins. I am going to have to agree. I mean, the Giants are so bad this year. It is almost sad to see how bad they are, because this is a team that last year was so much fun. They were a playoff team. Daniel Jones seemed to resurge his career or revive it in some way, and I don't know what happened. They just utterly fell apart. They cannot do what they did last year. No doubt about it. They're an awful, awful team. And the Dolphins, I think, are going to put up a lot of points on that ratty Dolphins, or that ratty Giants defense. Up next, the Saints heading to New England, take on the Patriots. Seth is actually going to take the Patriots in this one. Now, that is surprising. I'm going to take the Saints. Look, the Patriots, I can't trust them. They're just so boring. And they brought in Bailey Zappi last week, and Mac Jones is just dead out there. I mean, look, the Saints aren't exactly exciting either, but I don't know. You lost to the Cowboys like 1,000-3, New England. I can't. I'll at least take the Saints. Maybe their defense can bounce back or something. I don't know, man. That's a ratty football game. That's a bad game. I'm sorry for anybody who's in that market, because that's rough. Ravens heading on the road to take on the Steelers. Seth is taking the Ravens. This is a divisional matchup, man. It's on the road. For the Ravens, they're a good team. They just came off a really nice win against the Browns, divisional game. Gosh, man, but the Steelers can't score points. Yeah, I gotta go with the Ravens. The Steelers can't score points. They're just, I don't care if they're at home. They're so bad on offense. Defense, I don't know. I mean, CJ Stroud really lit them up, and I think this might be the beginning of the end for them season-wise. I think Lamar Jackson probably has a good game against them, but I don't know, man. That's a tough game for sure. We have the Bengals heading on the road to take on the Cardinals. Seth is taking the Bengals. You know what? I can't believe I'm doing this. I really can't. I'm taking the Cardinals. The Cardinals beat the Cowboys at home. Let's not forget. And the Bengals have looked so bad in every single facet all year. I know that the Cardinals have not looked good, but they have played some tough teams, and they've played some teams decently competitively. They played the Commanders in a competitive way. They beat the Cowboys. They played the Giants in a competitive way. Obviously, they gave up that game, but they were in the game. And so, look, with the Bengals, it just seems like every game that they're not in, they're just dead. Like, they're losing. I just can't take the Bengals anymore. I'm sorry. I can't believe I'm saying it. I believe in the Cardinals more than I believe in the Bengals. I can't believe that's actual words that's coming out of my mouth right now. Eagles heading out to LA, taking on the Rams. Seth has the Eagles. This is another tough one because, like I was saying earlier, I don't know where the Eagles are at. They're two teams where I just don't really know how to feel. But the Eagles are undefeated. I think I'm going to agree. I'm going to take the Eagles just because they're still undefeated. I think they're figuring things out on defense and on offense and on everything. As they get more and more comfortable. And A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts still have that great connection. I mean, shout out to A.J. Brown on my fantasy team. He really helped me out. We'll just leave it at that. But up next, we have football cancer, as I like to call it. We have the Jets at the Broncos. And Seth is going to take, looking for that, he's taking the Jets, even though he wrote it as the Nets. I think that was a typo. He's taking the Jets in this game. And I am actually going to take the Broncos in this game. And not because the Broncos are good, but because the Jets are very, very bad. And I know they played a close game with Kansas City last week on Sunday Night Football. But they're going to be on the road this time. And as bad or as not good as the Broncos defense is, their offense is probably going to be, which is weird to say, it's probably going to be a decent threat to them. And I don't think Zach Wilson has two good games in a row. I think it's going to be probably a low-scoring but closer game, but I think the Broncos come away with the win. Up next, the Chiefs head to Minnesota, taking on the Vikings. Seth is taking, where is it? There he is. The Chiefs, which is the right choice. The Chiefs are just the better team. The Vikings, look, they had their little ratty win against the Panthers. Nobody cares about that. Come on. I mean, give me the Chiefs all day. I think they're gonna put up 1,000 on the Vikings. That defense is so bad. Patrick Mahomes is gonna have a field day. It's gonna be bad. Up next, Sunday Night Football. This is probably the game of the week. The Cowboys at the 49ers. Seth is taking the 49ers, and I will agree wholeheartedly. The Cowboys are technically good, but this is going to be the test. If they can win this game, then I will believe. Because up until now, they played nothing but rat. And they even lost to one of those rats in the Cardinals. So maybe the Cardinals are a little bit tough, but we don't know. And finally, to round it out, Monday Night Football. Packers at the Raiders. Seth is taking the Packers, and I will agree. As bad as the Packers looked last week, they were playing a really tough team in the Lions, which is, again, kind of a funny thing to say, given the history of the Lions. But the Lions are a really good team this year. And the Raiders are a very not good team this year. Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm pretty sure he's dead, or just doesn't want to play football anymore, which is, to be fair, you're playing for the Raiders, so who would want to play for them? And I think this is a chance for Jordan Love to bounce back, to be the kind of touchdown merchant he was going into the first 4 weeks. And the Raiders are coached by a moron, so that usually benefits the team that is going in. So yeah, I will take the Packers there. So to round out our order, we also have a few teams on the bye, so that's why we have less games, obviously. So every week from this point on, we'll have a different amount of games. But first, Bears, Commanders, we both take the Commanders. Jaguars, Bills, we both take the Bills. Texans, Falcons, we both take the Texans. Panthers and Lions, we both take the Lions. Titans, Colts, Seth's taking the Titans. I'm taking the Colts. Giants, Dolphins, we're both taking the Dolphins. Saints, Patriots, Seth is taking the Patriots. I am taking the Saints. Ravens, Steelers, we're both taking the Ravens. Bengals, Cardinals, Seth is taking the Bengals. I'm taking the Cardinals. Eagles, Rams, we are both taking the Eagles. Jets, Broncos, Seth is taking the Jets. I'm taking the Broncos. Chiefs, Vikings, we're both taking the Chiefs. Cowboys, 49ers, we're both taking the 49ers. And Packers, Raiders, we are both taking the Packers. That is the picks. Hey there, what you just watched was actually a clip from a larger show that we do every Tuesday night. What are you doing Tuesday night? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button so that you don't miss out on any more of our weekly shows every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there.